Hello, welcome along to Racing to Win. This is Hong Kong's twice weekly preview show. We're going to focus on Sha Tin this coming Sunday with dual course racing coming up. Joined on the panel today by Paul Lally and Tom Wood. And Tom, we start off with some higher grade races and we finish with some very promising horses in the making as well.
Yeah, we do, Mark. Hello to you and to everyone. A little bit of a slow start to the day with a couple of small fields for Class 1 and 2. Class 1 on the dirt, the first race, but the last three races, Beauty Live, Flying Ace and also Galaxy Witness. They'll be very short price favourites, I think, coming to those last three races.
And we welcome Paul Lally as well. Paul, and you've got a number of jackpots for us.
Yeah, there's a really good jackpot in the Triple Trio. It's jackpotted a couple of weeks now, so 11.6 million going into that. We've got 300,000 going into the first Double Trio, and also 800,000 going to the Quartet first four merged pools in races 6 and 10. So four good jackpots, a whole host of first starters in Hong Kong here throughout the meeting as well. Yeah,
sure is. A lot of them to get through, including a couple of races on this part of Racing to Win. As we have a look at the meeting details, it's meeting 51, 8 turf races on the C course. It'll be rated as good, and 2 all-weather races. The events we're focusing on, races 6, the Class 4 1,000 metres, and race 10, the Class 3 over 1,400 metres. Race number 6. We've got Sergeant Pepper on a 7-day backup. Flying High has the hood coming off. Flying Season gets the blinkers on for his second start. First starters, the 6 and the 7, have had 4 trials. Lucky Gore's been back to the trial since he was late scratched. Hood and the Pacifiers go on. Sunshine Legendary, Tycoon's Choice have had 5 trials, and Multimore Tom has his second start for Benno and comes back up in grade after winning at Happy Valley. 1,000-metre race, what does the speed map tell us?
Yeah, well, Kowloon East Starry wasn't the quickest out last start, but that was courtesy of an issue that wasn't his fault. He ended up a non-runner in the race, but Chabelle Valiant likes to go forward. Lerp Levita's shown a little bit of speed, but has been a little bit slow in a couple of trials also. Sergeant Pepper and Multimore Paul, he charged onto the pace to win first up at Happy Valley last start.
Yeah, that was over 1,000 at the Valley, so see if he can bring that speed here. Lucky Gore, another one that scratched at the barrier last time, he shouldn't be too far away either.
Lyle Hewitson with a win at Happy Valley on Wednesday night aboard Valiant Elegance. He'll team up in that race with Douglas White on Cheval Valiant, and Lyle had a chat with Nick via Zoom earlier today.
Lyle, Cheval Valiant is a horse that you know quite well, has run 2 good races recently and looks a leading chance this Sunday at Sha Tin.
Yeah, he's a consistent horse. He makes it tough for himself because he's pretty much a one-dimensional. He's got a lot of speed and sort of hangs on to the last few strides, and unfortunately he's been collared his last few starts. But nonetheless, he's in good form. He's been running well, and yeah, I think that once again he'll put up a good performance, albeit what looks to be a competitive race.
It certainly is. Obviously, quite a few newcomers. Just on his last couple of starts, Lyle, when you've ridden him, he's been drawn 2 and 7, and I guess traditionally down the straight, that's the wrong side to be. You're in 10 now. Does that help you out? Do you think more closer to this stand side rail?
Yeah, I think obviously according to trends, it definitely will be beneficial that he's up there, but he's been able to overcome those draws a bit easier because he's naturally quick. But nonetheless, that just makes things more in our favour being drawn there, and I think we'll have to just take full advantage of it.
The handicap has put him up a point. He's got an extra pound to carry. You don't see that being any sort of issue at all?
Yeah, I think a pound at this stage is not too much to worry about. But yeah, I mean, we'd like to see him win before he puts up any more weight.
I mean, just from what you're saying, Lyle, obviously, I mean, he's still lightly raced, only had 7 rounds. I mean, is he a horse that has his limitations? Do you think now's the time to try and strike with him, if you can? Yeah,
look, I think that he's going to be competitive throughout that Class 4. But yes, he does have his limitations because he's not a big horse. He's robust, he's strong, but he's a small speed machine and not much scope that he's going to step up over 12 and improve from there. He's an out-and-out 5 furlong horse. I know he hasn't performed at Happy Valley in his 2 starts there, but there is always that option to go back now that he's in good form. But nonetheless, I think that, like you say, the strike by the irons hot would be ideal.
There he is, Lyle Hewitson. Now we're going to further look back at that race, Paul, and we're going to focus more on Flying Season here. There he is in barrier 6. He draws gate 14 with those blinkers going on.
Yeah, so he's got the blinkers on. He ran really well, I thought. Look, you can see him just playing up before the start as well, flying season. So, you know, there's obviously the barrier manners, and was just slightly slow away there. But with the blinkers on, let's see if he stays a little bit more focused. And it was a good finish off from him. I thought he ran really well. So, look, he's definitely got some ability, this horse.
Yeah, there was certainly no support about him first up. He was 36 to 1 in the market. So this time around, I think the outside barrier draw is likely to help him because he's going to have a rail to follow. You can see sort of halfway down the straight here as well at about the 250, 300. He did want to get the head on the side a few times, but once he got himself sorted out and focused, he really finished off pretty well. Blinkers will certainly sharpen him up again. I didn't quite get him in this time round though, Paul.
No, I didn't either. But I did put Chevelle Valiant, the horse, in those lime colours there earlier, closer to the rail. I thought he ran pretty well.
And now, Tom, we've got the zoom in happening around Kowloon Eastar. This was the day he was declared a non-starter because of that blindfold right there. Yeah,
it's pretty hard to run a race when you've got your eyes covered, and so that's what happened to him at the start there, and he was taken out of it by the stewards after the race. So he had a clear excuse there. He didn't jump as sharply as he has done in the past, but he also has put in the odd bad start as well in the past.
We're going to see his trial here, Paul, because here he is with Chevelle Valiant and Flying High. This is actually race 356, is the race that he wins. That blindfolded incident, knowing that Tom's talked about his barrier manners before, could that be a bad thing going forward for him?
Yeah, well, obviously there's a little issue there, a little kink in his armour, but we know the horse has got plenty of speed, and look, he just ran away here and won really nicely, I thought. So if he can get into a rhythm and get out quickly and get to the front, then I think he's going to be right in the finish here. Look, I've included him.
Yeah, he's in for me as well as Kowloon Eastar. The other horse that stayed on okay there was Flying High, but he is now an 11-start maiden.
He is and has run 7th since that second. Off to Happy Valley, Tom. Here's Savvy Delight having his first look both at Sha Tin and the Straight 1000.
Yeah, and he's been a little bit of a costly conveyance for supporters of him, Paul, because he's gone off at anywhere sort of between 2.7 and 9.7 recently, but he was making ground here from the rear last start quite stylishly.
Yeah, it was a nice enough run from him. He hasn't got that early gate speed, so maybe the Straight 1000, just a straight down, might be able to help him pick up late. Didn't quite make it in for me.
We saw Happy Jai on Wednesday night, Paul, come up from Class 5 in good form and win. Multimore is looking to do the same. His form not as strong, even though a last start winner, as what Happy Jai had been. No,
that's the thing with him, isn't he? So coming up here into Class 4, look, he'd run last in his 4 starts prior to this. When he'd come to Happy Valley and done really well. Look, I'd like to see him do it again.
Yeah, likewise here. He's had 5 runs in the grade. Hasn't run 1, 2, 3 or 4. Maybe the lightweight can help him, but Benno's done a good job with him so far.
Yeah, he sure has. As we check out Enchanting Ibis here, Tom, Antoine Hemlin for Tony Millard, 4 trials and draws out in 13.
Magic Million Yearling, he was 28,000 Australian dollars. He sort of sat midfielder. I didn't mind him here in the trial. He looked to be under a nice enough hold, no real pressure put on him, and he has led in the trial in the past, Paul, at Happy Valley.
Yeah, he has. Look, he's 11.45 pounds. He's had those 4 trials to get him ready. I didn't quite get him in, but the trial was good enough.
And that is Brilliant Wade, the grey, who was placed at Sha Tin last weekend. Another 2 at the first starters, Paul Sunshine Legendary for Richard Gibson and La Place Vite for David Hayes.
Got La Place Vite in, definitely. I just like the way he finished off here. Look, he has shown pace in some of his trials. He's been a slow away in a couple, so he's going to have to sort of jump away clean. If he does, I think he can put himself right there. So, look, I'll put him in. The other horse, Legendary... what's he called? Legendary, Sunshine Legendary, got there in the end. Sunshine Legendary didn't quite make it in, but it was a nice enough trial from him.
And here's Lucky Gore, Tom. Now, this was over the 1,000 metres. He's drawn barrier number 4. He's been back to the trials after being late scratch for doing something similar on race day.
And he's pretty much done it every barrier trial, done something wrong in the gates, has Lucky Gore. So that's the risk you take here with him. He just keeps wanting to do things wrong. Before his first up run we touched on, he was a $75,000 yearling out of Magic Millions. He'd trialled in Australia. He won a trial there with Logan McGill. He hasn't been put under any pressure here over the final stages of this trial, but Paul, it's just his barrier manners. They're not good.
Yeah, that's the thing. If he can jump and do this, then look, he's one of the main chances. I think he's definitely got the ability. He's just a little bit headstrong at the start. That's the query for him.
He's one of 3 in the race, which could be Barrier Rogues, Flying Season, and not so much Kowloon Eastar, Paul. He's just a slow beginner at times. His manners have been all right in the gates. We need some selections, though.
Yeah, I like a couple of the Rogues. In fact, I've got Lucky Gore on top. Let's see if he can get to the race at this time. He was scratched at the barrier last time, but the horse has been working and trialling well, so he's on top. The 5 Calunista in there for second, Le Plevie in there for third. Now, I do like his trials coming to the race. He's had 4 of them, and Cheval Valiant, he's a racehorse, Cheval Valiant, but has got a lot of speed as well. So he goes in for 4th, 8, 5, 7, 11. There are 5 first starters in this race, though.
I'm going to settle with one of the first starters here, number 7, Le Plevite, out of the stable of David Hayes, and Daniel Moore takes the ride. He was just half a stride slow in his recent trial, but looked good going to the line under a hold. He does have some speed to this horse, 7, Le Plevite. Over 8, Lucky Gore, depends what type of mood he's in at the gates, I guess. Kaluni Star and Sunshine Legendary. So 7, 8, 5 and 9.
There it is, the preview for race number 6. Off to a break here on Racing to Win. We'll come back and check out race number 10 right after this. Welcome back to Racing to Win and the preview for Sunday at Sha Tin. We've seen race 6. It's time now to focus on race number 10, the Hyacinth handicap, class 3 over the 1400 metres. Top of the book, we've got Circuit Stella, top weight in a wide draw again. Seattle Choice on a 7-day backup. Then we've got Charity Grace carrying an extra £8 for a course and distance win last time. Shadow Mission, first start since October. Galaxy Witness, first time class 3. On Point will wear cheek pieces. God of Dragon back in distance from the 22 to the 1400, and both Colonel and Fearless Fire have done their best racing at this stage over at Happy Valley. Speed map time. There's some very promising horses in this race, Tom, headed by Galaxy Witness and also On Point. And Galaxy Witness, looking at the speed map, is going to have to give On Point a start.
He might have to from barrier number 9. Colonel's a horse that will go forward, so he'll sprint across from barrier number 12 for Wagner Borders and Ricky Yu. Let's Do It has raced handy in a few runs. Paul. On Point has been handy, and they've changed the gear this time round with On Point. The cheek piece is going on.
Yeah, so he should get himself into a nice position. Super Dynamite's finally got a barrier draw. He's drawn nicely, so he'll be a little bit handier than normal. Massive Action's only had the one start, but drawn wide, so he did go forward in all his races when he raced overseas. He's a beauty, likely to get back. God of Dragon, I think, will go back. Kazi Farazi normally goes back when he draws wide, and I think he'll go back from his wide draw as well.
He is a 5-time course and distance winner, is Kazi Farazi. Galaxy Witness, 2 starts, 2 very impressive wins, and via Zoom, this is what Casper told Nick earlier today.
Casper, Galaxy Witness has taken all before him so far in 2 starts. I imagine you and the team and everybody involved are looking forward to gracing the racecourse with him for a 3rd time.
Yeah, absolutely, Nick. It looks to be quite an exciting prospect for the stable, and you know, since he's only 3 years old, we're going to have some fun with him going forward.
Just on what he's done so far, Casper, before we touch upon his preparation for this start, I know he's been up to Chung Fa. 2 runs, 1,000 metres, 1,200. He just seems to keep taking that next step, doesn't he, this horse?
Yeah, sort of, you know, it's the last part of his race is his best, which is good. And even the other day when he's finished off the last 100 very strongly, he just looks like he's crying out for an extra furlong already, you know. So we're going to give him that opportunity, up in class, down in weight, and see how we go.
I guess obviously you would have loved to have seen Oriental Smoke win last time he ran, because that would have certainly franked the form, but he went extremely close to doing so. Just on the trip front, Casper, has he always shown you plenty to suggest that he's a horse that will continue to get over ground?
Yeah, absolutely. From day one, he's a big, strong horse, but he's a very laid-back customer. You know, he does everything his own way, and he's just beautiful horse to train. And he gives you the feeling that he's going to even eat up a mile later on in his prep.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see him over the mile and perhaps beyond. Just on recent preparation, I know he's been up to Chung Fa, something that you like to do quite a bit. That trial recently looked very good.
Yeah, he's in good form, mate. He trialled on the 24th. He just came back to Hong Kong on Wednesday. He looks a treat. Had a little bit of work yesterday morning on the grass, and Joe got off him and says he feels good and he's ready to go to the races. You know, obviously you're stepping up an extra furlong, and you're up in class, which you always respect in Hong Kong because you're meeting just a little bit of that better quality of horse. But he's the type of horse that's going to keep progressing for us. I do respect Danny Shum's horse, though. He looks quite nice in the race.
Absolutely, there are some nice horses in there. Charity Grace, the horse you allude to. Away from this horse, Casper, obviously Happy Valley. You introduced a nice newcomer, Nakoni County. Well done there, and that takes you one closer to the 1,000. But that was a nice win from him, who still looks like he's got more to give.
Yeah, definitely another horse that he's a 3-year-old, and he's going to keep progressing, and looks that he will run further as well. So it's always nice when they can win first up. And, it was only his second run of his whole life, which is pretty impressive, And when you come to Hong Kong, and if you can do that, it's you're certainly going to be looking forward to something that's going to take you through the ratings in the next few months, God willing.
Listed placed in Adelaide before he arrived Nakoni County. Back to that replay now, boys. And Tom, this is Galaxy Witness over the 1,200 last time. He's done everything Casper has wanted to on race day. Any concerns with you about the step up in trip?
No, I don't think so. The way he's been hitting the line, he seemed to pretty much with his ears pricked in this assignment here. There have been 2 smart wins. We saw the trial as well. He looked pretty comfortable in that trial, closing off really well. So I've got no concerns up to the 1,400 here, Paul.
No, I thought that trial was really good. He got back. I think they'll get back in this run as well over the 14. But he just won with so much in hand. And as Casper said, he's still a young horse, so quite exciting to see how far he can get through to the grades.
And there's his graphics card there, Paul. 2 starts at Sha Tin for 2 wins, and can't ask for any more than that.
No, he's by Star Witness as the horse, so Miles should be fine out of a Lonhro mare. And it was, really, really nice, strong 2 wins from him.
All right, we move on, Tom, to the next replay. There's Circuit Stella on the outside. He can't take a trick as far as barriers draw go at his last 2, 9 last time and barrier 11 this week. We've got He's a Beauty, who was a shock winner a couple of starts ago. He's hidden away on the rail there. We've also got Fearless Fire, prefer him at Happy Valley, and Seattle Choice, who's on that 7-day backup. Now, this race was on the 12th of February. Seattle Choice has run 4th 2 weeks after this.
Yeah, I didn't end up getting any of these, and I know he's been consistent, certainly on a place line anyway. Circuit Stella from a few wide draws, an inside draw as well. But look, he was caught 4 and 5 wide here around the home turn. He kept on okay, but I just think there's a few other stronger rivals in this race, Paul, which just makes 11 tricky for him.
Yeah, that I agree. And I did manage to get Settled Choice in on a minor line because he was very unlucky last time. He just couldn't get the run when he needed to, and he stayed on well there for 4th. So I think he can go in just on a minor line as well. But look, the horse that won this race is in the race previous, Beauty Live, and he was impressive. But look, just that's the one I'm taking out, Settled Choice.
This is the yielding track, Paul, and Charity Grace comes from a mile back to win it. There he is on the extreme outside. We've also got, as you said, on the speed map, Super Dynamite's got a better barrier. He does have 6 lengths to make up on Charity Grace and Kazi Farazi at the back there. But Charity Grace hasn't only won on a yielding track, he's a 3-time course and distance winner, including a good track win 4 starts ago. Yeah,
so look, I like this horse. I think he's a very honest horse. He's 4th up now as well. Look, he's one of the main chances as well. You could hear, obviously, Casper gave him respect as well. He's got plenty of ability. He did have a few issues, but he's come back from those, and the horse is going well. So, look, he goes in for me.
Yeah, he just went past him with some ease here at Charity Grace over the final stages. So he's definitely in. And I'm going to include Super Dynamite because he's finally drawn a gate this time round. So that should assist him a great deal this time.
Interesting press release, Tom Ree on point in this win last time, that they interviewed both the Frankie Law and Zach Purton, the stewards, and Zach suggesting that he didn't finish the race off and win the race like he wanted to. Thus, permission has been granted for those cheek pieces to go on.
Yeah, just sort of indicating he just might have switched off over the final stages and wasn't on the right leg and code. You can see, looks like at this point he's going to win pretty well, but then sort of the last 150 he's had to really get stuck into him, Paul, over the concluding stages, and he has trialled well now with the cheek pieces on. Yeah,
he looked almost like he pulled himself up there, didn't he? Just managed to hang on, but look, he goes on. I think that scared change will help him.
Is Galaxy Witness easily the horse to beat here, Paul, or maybe not so easily?
No, I think he can. I think he can go on with it. The horse has looked pretty good in his 2 runs. I think he's very progressive. He can win again. On point in there for 2nd, Charity Grace 3rd, and a Settled Choice for 4th, 7, 8, 4 and 2.
Same top 3, but I've gone with the Super Dynamite in for a 4th, but Galaxy Witness over on point. Charity Grace certainly goes in on that last start performance. Number of runners coming to this meeting off that yielding track, and Super Dynamite the other one, but Galaxy Witness the horse to beat in the last.
That's race number 10. You've also seen race number 6. Outside of those two races, Paul, who are some of the winners?
Do like Willpower in race 1. I think he's just going to get the race run to suit here. Looking great. Also, he held his form when he did win last season. He's a last start winner. I think he can win race number 2. The last 3 races, I think the favourites look really well hard to beat, or do look hard to beat in those last 3. Flying Ace would look really good. Beauty Live, Flying Ace, and obviously the one we've just seen, which is Galaxy Witness. So there's some of the horses I do like on the card.
Yeah, great to see both Beauty Live and Flying Ace racing in the latter half of the program as well. You can see a race-by-race breakdown of all of those races at hkjc.com. Click on audio and video. Your best bet, Paul, nice and easy to remember.
Race 1, number 1. Yeah, Willpower, he's won in the grade before. Only a small field, but he should get the race run to suit. And race 3, number 2, Gold Comet. He's been downgraded, and his track work has been pretty good during the week. We'll do the play later on in the card, though. Race 9, Rock Your Heart, Flying Ace, and Jolly Ruler 236.
Best for me comes up midway through the program. Race 5, number 1, Murado here for Paul O'Sullivan and Jerry Chow. Really caught the eye when finishing off through between runners late last start. And one of the newcomers in the following race, race 6, number 7, Le Plevite for David Hayes and Daniel Moore. His trials, I think, camp looked quite good. We'll make the play in the 5th race with Murado, Maya Static, and one of the newcomers, Starry Night.
I'm going to take you on, Tom, as the best bet. Race 5, number 3, Pleasant Endeavour. Blinkers off, cheek pieces on. The thing is, he comes back to the 1,200 metres, has one off a rating of 59. Sacred Ibis, Beauty Live's going to be hard to beat. He has one on a 7-day backup before Sacred Ibis. And the play of the day, co-partner Elites, Beauty Live and Sacred Ibis in a QQP. That's just about racing to win. We know that Tom, Paul likes race 1, number 1. What did you like in the opening race? Because it's a small but quality all-weather race.
I'll take Paul on. I'll go with Hong Kong Great. You could argue before his mishap last start, he probably was the best dirt horse in Hong Kong. So hoping he can get back on track, Hong Kong Great.
Yeah, that should be a good race, actually. I've got him in there as well. But looking forward to the card, and plenty of first starters, as we said. So get your teeth into the form.
That has been Racing to Win. We will see you at Sha Tin Sunday for a 1 o'clock start. Bye-bye.